This year, studios are betting big on some wild movies, but not all of them will win. Today, we're diving into the 11 movies of 2025 that might just explode at the box office, and not in a good way. If Michael flops, I'll moonwalk through a haunted theater. Starting with the one that's moonwalking on thin ice, Michael. Yup, a biopic of the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. With a hefty $155 million budget, this movie is aiming for the stars. But does it have the right tune to make the cash registers ring? Now, musician biopics can totally rock the box office. Bohemian Rhapsody pulled in over $900 million. But this one, it's a minefield. Why? First off, controversy. Let's be real. Michael Jackson's legacy is iconic, but there's a little thing called controversy. A lot of it. Michael's complicated personal life, his legal battles, and some sensitive topics might not sit too well with a broad audience. Will people be able to separate the art from the artist? That's the big question. Second, biopics rely heavily on star power and critical acclaim. This one stars Jackson's nephew, who might be great, but he's untested. If the film feels like PR rather than authentic storytelling, critics will tear it apart. And don't forget, Elvis made $287 million on an $85 million budget. That's profit. Michael needs to make at least $350 million to break even. That's a dangerous number. Remember how Bohemian Rhapsody went from underdog to legend? Well, Michael needs to dodge a few emotional landmines if it's going to be another success story. One thing's for sure, this one's going to make a lot of waves, whether it sinks or swims. Prediction: if this doesn't hit every note right, it could be a $100 million disaster. Show some love with a like and sub. We're just getting started with the good stuff. Next up, we have the mind-blowing franchise, Now You See Me 3. The first two movies were all about flashy tricks, but let's be honest, is anyone really asking for a third one?
When you're ready to go to Paris, just say the magic word.
Blow me?
That'll suffice.
Bon voyage.
I mean, don't get me wrong, who doesn't love a good magic trick, but with the last movie released in 2016 and no major updates since then, is there still an audience for this? It's been almost a decade. The plot might be full of twists, but is the audience patience just as twisted? Let's face it, mystery fatigue is real, and this one has big flop energy written all over it. I'm just saying. The first two films were decent earners, but not spectacular. The original did about $350 million globally. The sequel dipped to around $330 million, and that was 7 years ago. The magic's faded. And if the magic's gone, so might be the box office numbers. Here's the risk. Moviegoers have moved on. Gen Z might not even remember this franchise. Plus, with real magicians pulling crazy stunts on TikTok, stage illusions aren't quite as impressive anymore. And let's be real. Unless they've got Chris Nolan directing actual magic, it might vanish faster than a rabbit in a hat. Prediction: could be sleight of hand or sleight of budget losses. It's green, it's grand, and it's part 2. That's right. Wicked is being split into 2 movies. Why? Because Hollywood loves turning one book into 2 overpriced films. Wicked Part 2. If you loved the first part, then you know. This movie has a lot of pressure to perform. The Broadway musical was groundbreaking, but splitting the story into 2 movies? That's a bold move. The first part had mixed reviews, so It's going to be a tricky tightrope to watch. If the second part doesn't hit the right notes, we could be looking at a ticket sales disaster. The first movie didn't exactly wow audiences across the board, and now with this sequel, it's a make or break situation. Will people still be on the yellow brick road with this one? Only time will tell, but I'm not exactly packing my bags for a surefire hit. This movie is risky. Remember Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 or Divergent Allegiant? Yep, not great. Part 1 needs to crush it. If it underwhelms in any way, reviews, box office, buzz, Part 2 could crash and burn. And musicals, they're hit or miss. Dear Evan Hansen, anyone? Another red flag? Musical fatigue. Audiences loved The Greatest Showman and La La Land, but recent musical adaptations have flopped hard. If Wicked doesn't land with Gen Z or TikTok, it might get ghosted by moviegoers. Prediction: if Part 1 doesn't enchant, Part 2 won't fly. Who asked for a live-action Toothless? Seriously, here's one that has me scratching my head. How to Train Your Dragon, but in live action. Hold up. The original animated version was a masterpiece, critically loved with a heartwarming story and adorable dragons. But transitioning to live action? That's like painting over a masterpiece. Oh boy, do they even stand a chance? How to Train Your Dragon is one of DreamWorks' most beloved animated franchise, and now they're remaking it in live action. Live action remakes are a mixed bag. The Lion King made bank, but felt soulless. Pinocchio flopped hard. And Mulan? Let's not go there. Toothless is an icon in animation, translating his expressions, charm, and energy to live action CGI is a huge risk. If it looks weird or uncanny, it'll alienate fans instantly. Plus, the original trilogy ended beautifully. This remake feels unnecessary. Prediction: it might train a new generation or nosedive like a dragon with no wings. Dinosaurs are back, but should they be? Now, this one has potential and a lot of baggage. Jurassic World Rebirth. If you thought the dinosaurs were extinct in terms of box office hits, think again. But after the lukewarm reception of Jurassic World Dominion, I'm not so sure the roar is as loud as it used to be. Don't get me wrong, dinosaurs are awesome, and the Jurassic franchise has a cult following. But with each new movie, the hype seems to get smaller and smaller. Will this movie resurrect the franchise, or will it become a fossil of its former glory? Only time will tell, but I'm keeping my expectations realistically low. The Jurassic franchise peaked in the 90s. The reboot trilogy did well financially, but each entry dropped in quality and audience excitement. Dominion was a chaotic mess that still made over $1 billion, but only because of legacy characters and dino nostalgia. Rebirth is a reset. New cast, new direction. But what does that even mean? And can it overcome the fatigue? Also, the public's dino craving has cooled off. Without a clear hook or someone like Chris Pratt, this could easily feel like a cash grab. Prediction: this might be the extinction event the franchise was trying to avoid. All right, switching gears to something a little more violent. Mortal Kombat II. The first movie didn't exactly set the world on fire, but hey, at least it brought the fighting, right? Mortal Kombat 2021 had a cool trailer and some brutal fights, but the plot, Critics were split like a fatality finisher. But a sequel, sure, hardcore fans of the game are going to love it, but is there enough mainstream appeal to make this a box office monster? I mean, sequels rarely manage to live up to the hype of their predecessors, and Mortal Kombat? I don't know, it's not exactly cinematic gold. I'd say the odds are 50-50, but let's just hope the fatalities are worth it. Mortal Kombat 2 promises to up the ante, with fan favorites like Johnny Cage and possibly more gore, but will that be enough? Video game movies are finally getting good. Mario, Sonic, but they're family friendly. MK is rated R, which limits its audience. And if it's all style, no substance again, people won't show up. Prediction: could be a cult hit or get KO'd opening weekend.
What are you doing? Oh, shit.
She danced, she stabbed, she slayed TikTok, but now she's back, moving on to a very different kind of sequel. Megan 2.0. Okay, guys, the first one was a surprise hit. A creepy doll with some serious sass. Yeah, we were here for it. But can lightning strike twice? Sure, Megan was fun, but how many times can we watch an AI doll go rogue and terrorize people? The first one caught us off guard, but now the novelty might wear off faster than an old pair of sneakers. Megan was a surprise horror hit. Low budget, high return. A perfect Blumhouse success story. But Megan 2.0 might not be so lucky. Will audiences find her unnervingly charming, or will they just want to shut her down for good? Get ready for a potentially short circuit at the box office. Why? Sequels in horror often crash. Annabelle Creation worked, but most sequels, The Nun 2, The Conjuring 3, decline. Unless the writing is sharp and the concept evolves, Megan might feel like a glitchy rerun. Also, will the novelty still be there? Or will Gen Z meme her into oblivion? Prediction: could double down, or just crash and reboot. A racing movie starring Brad Pitt and produced by Apple. Sounds cool, right? F1 is being filmed during real races with actual drivers, which is wild. But racing movies are high risk. For every rush, there's a need for speed. Even Ford vs. Ferrari only made $225 million globally, despite great reviews. And here's the thing. Casual moviegoers don't know F1 that well in the US. Globally, yes. But can a film about gear shifts and pit stops generate mainstream hype? Also, production costs are rumored to be very high. If it doesn't pull in international audiences, it's skidding off track. Prediction? Might be Apple's fastest write-off ever. Okay, Tron fans, this one's for you. But also, are there enough of you left? Here's another one to keep an eye on. Tron Ares, the third installment in the Tron series. But after a 15-year break, does anyone even remember what happened in the second movie? The first two movies were visual masterpieces, no doubt. But after such a long gap, will the movie feel fresh? Or will audiences feel like it's been too long since the last ride? The buzz surrounding this is way less than it was back in the day, so don't be surprised if this one fizzles out like a bad Wi-Fi connection. The digital concept is now kind of dated. In a world of AI, Ready Player One, and Black Mirror, Tron needs a major upgrade to feel fresh. Also, Jared Leto is starring. Enough said. Prediction: might look stunning and still be a total system crash.
Okay, come and get me. You okay?
Then we've got Pixar's Elio. Pixar is taking another original swing with Elio, about a kid who accidentally becomes Earth's ambassador to aliens. A brand new story about a boy who gets abducted by aliens. But here's the thing. Pixar's been on a bit of a slump when it comes to original films. Lightyear didn't exactly shoot for the stars, and this one has meh written all over it.
My friends need our help. You made a friend?
Just give me a call. Stop me. Have a good time.
You will feel my wrath.
Cool concept, but Pixar's been struggling lately. Lightyear bombed, Elemental flopped, then barely recovered. Original stories just aren't pulling kids or parents to theaters anymore. Sure, the alien theme has potential, but after a few flops, will audiences still be excited to try something new from Pixar? Let's just hope Elio doesn't end up as an intergalactic failure. Unless Elio is an inside-out masterpiece, it's at risk. The stakes are high because this could further damage Pixar's box office crown. Prediction. Might charm critics, but the aliens won't save it from an earthbound flop.
Show some love with a like and sub.
The Diary is back, but should it be? The one we never thought we'd see. Bridget Jones returns. I mean, hasn't she been there, done that already? Bridget Jones was a hit back in the 2000s. Romantic comedies have evolved and audiences have moved on. The last film, Bridget Jones's Baby, made a modest $210 million worldwide, and that was with Colin Firth and Hugh Grant. Sure, Renee Zellweger is still a queen, but will audiences be interested in a fourth round of Bridget's misadventures? The third movie was a wrap, so bringing her back for another spin seems, well, unnecessary. I'd say it's a risky bet for box office success. This time the tone might feel outdated. The character's appeal was her awkward charm, but does that work post-TikTok era? Prediction. Might win nostalgia points, but it's dangerously close to a diary entry no one wants to read. That's our list of the 11 movies that might crash harder than a Fast and Furious car chase. Think we got one wrong? Let us know in the comments, and I'll wear a dinosaur costume to the next premiere.